Hi, how you doing? This is Jose David, marriage counselor, and today we'll be talking about chapter 10 from the book Stop Divorce, Dead in Its Tracks, and it's titled Undesirable Traits and How to Beat Them. Throughout the book, we've been talking about what kind of things we can do to make ourselves more attractive, more desirable, and so here are some traits that you might be engaging in, some behaviors you might be doing without even knowing, and that can be affecting the way your spouse or partner perceives you, therefore making you unattractive. So the first one is, and this might be going, inside your head or when you have these conversations with your partner, which are exaggerating. Okay, a lot of times when you're upset, you exaggerate a lot. You think the world's against you. You're frustrated. You're hurt, and we understand that. But there's a solution to this problem. A lot of times we're not looking at things clearly. We're not thinking really we're thinking about the problem too much. We're not thinking about the solution. So you need to focus on the solution of this problem and really analyze and think, am I exaggerating? Am I making it bigger than it is? If maybe your expectations are unrealistic or your ideas of how things should be, you might want to reconsider changing that. And you might want to think about, why is it hurting you? Why is it making you mad? Why is it upsetting you? And sometimes we get stuck in exaggerations, and we exaggerate what we expect of people and what we expect out of life, and that a lot of times is very unrealistic. The next trait is shame and guilt. Shame and guilt are very powerful feelings, okay? When you're ashamed or when you're feeling guilty, you might be ashamed that you're going through this crisis in your relationship. You might feel guilty that it's your fault, but these two feelings are gonna set you back. They're not going to help you. They're not productive feelings. So you really need to try to stay away from feeling shame and guilt, which a lot of it is normal but what's not normal is being stuck with this shame and guilt, or trying to shame and guilt your partner or spouse into coming back to you. That's not really going to be beneficial for you, because if you're trying to make them feel good about themselves and feel that they should want to be in a relationship with you, shame and guilt are not going to be good long-term solutions to your problems as a couple. So don't fall into this trap. The other one is self-pity. Self-pity is also very powerful, and it kind of goes hand in hand with exaggerating. A lot of times when we're going through difficult periods in our life, we kind of go through this motion of feeling bad about yourselves. We just get caught in how bad things are going for us, and how is it possible that things are going so bad. And again, it's focusing on the problem and not on a solution. Admiring the problem, seeing how bad things are, is not going to help us get any better or be more attractive to our spouses or partners. So, this is something that you need to be honest to yourself and look at yourself in the mirror and try not to engage in these behaviors. A lot of times they're self-talk loops that we have in our heads. So it might be a little bit tricky, but, talk to people around you that know you, that you might be talking about these things constantly and not even knowing or being aware of them, doing them almost automatically. The other one is self-doubt. When you have self-doubt, you're obviously going through a process of crisis, and you're asking questions, which is good, but a lot of times you're asking too many questions, and too many have to do with who you are, and you're doubting everything about yourself, everything about anything in the past. And so you need to try to find some comfort and some security in things that are true, things that are good in you, and things that are good in your spouse or partner. Because if you start questioning everything, it's really gonna take a toll on yourself and in your marriage. and it's not going to help you get back with your spouse. It's actually going to make things more difficult, because nobody wants to be with somebody that doubts themselves and doubts about everybody else and the world around them. It's just not something, it goes back to that negativity, that nobody wants to be around those kind of negative people. The other one is seeing yourself as self-righteous or holier than thou. Nobody wants to really think or be around somebody that knows it all, somebody that thinks they're perfect, or that, it's on a higher moral ground than everybody else. That's a big turnoff to a lot of people. A lot of times if you're, if you have your feet on the ground, if you're approachable, or if you know that, you have some good things and some bad things, and but you're in touch with who you are, and you're not trying to judge people around you. That's never good, because if you're one of those people that is always judging other people or trying to base their life on how other people are living theirs as a parameter, then you're in the wrong path, okay? And you need to reconsider, how you see life in general. So being holier than thou, or trying to place mistakes or blame on other people is not going to bring you happiness. Also being always honest, compulsively honest, and it sounds strange because we live in a society that values being honest, which is great, but there's always a time and a place for everything. And so sometimes being completely and utterly honest is going to work against you. And we have a good example in the book. A lot of, people, married men and women, have gone through this dilemma of, does this make my spouse or partner look good? And, in your opinion, it might be a bad idea to tell them the truth. And, most of the times, is it really worth it for you to be honest, when honesty is going to hurt the person you love? So, and as we've said before, it's not about winning. It is not about proving your point. It's not about attacking your partner's or spouse self-esteem. So really, you got to consider sometimes not being completely honest and just going with it, just going with the flow, and just not telling people exactly what you think, when it's just it's gonna create conflict, it's gonna create an argument, or it's gonna make somebody that you love be hurt. The other one is the blame game. Okay, we don't want to be blaming our spouse or partner for everything, or blaming our parents, or if you are in the process of thinking that everything has to do with people outside of yourself, that everything bad that happens in your life has to do with the people around you, then you have a problem, because you're not taking responsibility for your actions, and you're not taking responsibility for the choices that you've made. Nobody made those choices for you, and you can't blame other people for the life that you live, that you chose to live. So, blaming, never a good idea. Also, and lastly, having conflicting desires. We all have conflicting desires in our lives. We're always trying to manage family, work, friends, and a lot of times finding that balance is hard. And what I like to do is I like to be able to help clients prioritize and really make a list of things that they want to work on, or that take precedent in their life. To some people, work is everything. And a lot of times, because work is everything, family suffers. So you got to really put things into perspective, because I really never heard of anybody being remembered in a company as much dearly as they're remembered in their own family. So you need to think about that. And and if you really honestly, your family is your priority, you need to find that balance with work and not let it overpower you and take all your time. I know work's important, but work is not everything. We work to live. We don't live to work. So please understand these 8 behaviors and look at the things that you're doing, and hopefully they'll help you become more attractive to your spouse or partner. Thank you.